Champions. Aloha and blessings. I'm here doing pull-ups again. Back at it again. Got the video on. I'm gonna get my bar set up. My niece here visiting today. Uh, been here this whole week. She's here for about one more week. So we're on a work schedule. It's 6:39 in the morning in Hawaii on November the 24th. And today's day one of getting back on the saddle again or working out. Ooh, I gotta cut my hair on this side. Cut off my hair out. Okay. So let's get going. On music. Yeah. This guy will be talking.
With precision, refusing every distraction, denying every weakness, shutting out every voice that tries to shrink your potential. Your growth demands clarity, your destiny demands discipline, and your success demands obsession. The world only rewards those who are committed enough to start again, strong enough to stay consistent, and hungry enough to keep going when everyone else stops. Reset your mind, restart your fire, refocus your energy, and walk forward with the kind of determination that makes excuses disappear. Because the moment you sharpen your focus, the universe steps aside and allows you to claim what was always meant to be yours. Break the cycle of mental noise and interrupt autopilot living, because nothing powerful can grow inside a mind that is constantly reacting instead of consciously directing. You have spent too long moving through days that blur together, repeating the same patterns, thinking the same thoughts, following the same routines, accepting the same limitations that quietly shape your life without your permission. This is the trap that steals potential. This is the silent enemy that convinces you that being busy is the same as being productive, that movement is the same as progress, that surviving is the same as living. You must awaken. You must snap out of the fog that numbs your ambition and keeps you from realizing how much power you actually have when you choose to regain control of your inner world. Every day your mind is bombarded with noise, doubts, fears, notifications, opinions, expectations, unfinished tasks, old memories, invisible pressures. And slowly, almost without noticing, your mind becomes cluttered, chaotic, and exhausted. And when the mind is overwhelmed, it takes the easiest path, the path of routine, the path of autopilot. You wake up, you move, you react, you comply, you repeat. You start responding to life instead of directing it. You stop questioning the path you're on. You stop challenging the limitations you've accepted. You stop seeing how far you can go because you're too caught up in just getting through the day. That is not living. That is drifting. And nothing great has ever been built through drifting. But the moment you break this mental pattern, the moment you interrupt the cycle of noise and demand clarity, something shifts inside you. The fog lifts, the fire returns. You begin to see possibilities instead of problems. You begin to feel strength instead of stress. You begin to remember that your life wasn't meant to be a repetition of yesterday. It was meant to be a creation of something greater. And that creation begins the instant you choose to take command of your thoughts again. You interrupt autopilot living by becoming intentional, brutally intentional. You decide that you will not allow your mind to be a playground for distractions. You decide that you will not give your energy to people or problems that drain you. You decide that your goals deserve more from you than half-hearted effort and scattered attention. And with that decision, you start rewiring your life. You stop rushing and start observing. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop surviving and start building. You become conscious of every choice, every thought, every habit, every hour. Because when you are conscious, you are powerful. Breaking the cycle of mental noise requires courage. It means stepping away from the comfort of distractions. It means facing your fears without running from them. It means admitting that you've allowed your mind to wander, your discipline to weaken, your focus to scatter. But that honesty is not a failure. It is the beginning of transformation, because you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. And once you acknowledge it, you gain the authority to change everything. This shift begins with silence, not the absence of sound, but the absence of chaos, a moment where you pause, breathe, and pull your mind back into your control. In that silence, you regain your internal power. In that silence, you remember what you're working for. In that silence, you rediscover the strength you've been losing to distraction. You recharge your purpose. You refuel your fire. You realign your direction. And then you move deliberately, intentionally, powerfully. No more reacting. No more drifting. No more allowing the world to push you around. You become unshakable, because your thoughts are no longer scattered. Your energy is no longer wasted. Your focus is no longer fragmented. You rise above the noise by strengthening your mindset, sharpening your discipline, and commanding your attention like a warrior protecting the gates of their destiny. Do not underestimate this decision. When you break the cycle of mental noise, you break the limitations that once controlled you. When you interrupt all, you interrupt every barrier that kept you average. You disrupt the old version of yourself, the one that accepted less, settled often, doubted easily, hesitated frequently. You replace that version with someone sharper, stronger, more driven, more disciplined, more capable of reaching heights you once believed were too far. The world does not slow down for you. Life does not hand out clarity. Success does not arrive through routine comfort. You must create your clarity. You must claim your direction. You must force your mind into alignment with the greatness you desire. That is what breaking the cycle truly means, reclaiming your ability to choose who you become. And once you break that cycle, once you reclaim that control, everything changes. Your focus intensifies, your confidence rises, your decisions sharpen, your purpose strengthens, your steps become intentional, powerful, unstoppable. You stop living on autopilot and start living by design. You stop existing and start evolving. So break the cycle, interrupt the noise, take back your mind, and step into the version of yourself that was always waiting behind the distractions, behind the doubts, behind the chaos. Because your future begins the moment you decide to stop drifting and start directing your destiny with absolute focus and unshakable strength. Release past failures so they cannot dictate your next decision, because nothing destroys potential faster than a mind chained to yesterday. You cannot walk into a powerful future while dragging the weight of old mistakes, old doubts, old disappointments, and old versions of yourself that no longer represent who you are becoming. Failure only has power when you allow it to rewrite your identity, when you allow it to shape your confidence, when you allow it to whisper that you are not capable of more. But the moment you decide to release it, its influence collapses instantly. You must understand that failure is not a life sentence. It is a moment, a lesson, a stepping stone, nothing more. And the sooner you detach from it, the sooner you reclaim the clarity and courage required to make your next move with strength. Too many people allow a single setback to poison every future decision. They hesitate when they should act. They doubt when they should believe. They shrink when they should rise. They replay old failures until those failures become their internal default setting, shaping their choices, limiting their vision, draining their confidence. But you are not here to live inside the memory of your lowest moments. You are here to rise above them. You are here to transform them into fuel, not fear. And that transformation begins with a decision to release them completely. You release past failure not by pretending it never happened, but by stripping it of meaning that never belonged to it. Failure does not mean you are weak. Failure does not mean you are unworthy. Failure does not mean your dream is impossible. Failure simply means you were learning, stretching, reaching, fighting to grow into someone stronger. Every great life includes moments of collapse, miscalculation, disappointment, and loss. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is simple. One group uses failure as a mirror to see what needs improvement, while the other uses it as a cage to hide inside. You must choose the mirror. You must refuse the cage. Look at every failure you've endured and understand that it taught you something no success ever could. It revealed your blind spots, sharpened your resilience, thickened your skin, expanded your wisdom, and strengthened your character. The pain did not happen to punish you, it happened to prepare you. And now that the lesson is learned, the experience has served its purpose. But the emotional weight, the guilt, the self-blame, the fear of repeating the same mistake, those must be released because they no longer serve your journey. You cannot carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow and expect to rise. Releasing failure requires honesty. It requires standing face to face with your past and saying, yes, I messed up. Yes, I fell short. Yes, I made mistakes. But those moments do not define me. They refine me. Every time you forgive yourself for what you did not know then, you create space for the person you are becoming now. Every time you detach from past embarrassment, you restore the courage needed to take bold action again. Every time you stop replaying the worst version of yourself, you give your future a chance to breathe, expand, and grow. And make no mistake, you cannot build a powerful future with a hesitant mind. Strength is impossible without forward movement. Confidence is impossible without risk. Growth is impossible without releasing what no longer belongs in your story. When you cling to failure, you limit your next decision. You hesitate. You overthink. You sabotage new opportunities because you are afraid of repeating an old wound. You let failure sit in the driver's seat of your future. But when you release it, you free your mind to choose boldly again. The next decision becomes clearer. The next opportunity becomes visible. The next step becomes achievable. Your life will transform the moment you stop letting old failures influence new paths. You have already paid the price for those mistakes. The lesson is learned. The consequences have passed. There is nothing left for you in that chapter except wisdom. So why carry the pain? Why carry the fear? Why carry the doubt? Let it go. Walk lighter. Think clearer. Act faster. Believe stronger. Every great comeback begins with a release, a letting go of who you were so you can step fully into who you are meant to be. If you hold on to failure, your next decision will be timid, safe, and small. But if you release it, your next decision will be bold, rounded, fearless, and aligned with the greatness inside you. You will stop choosing based on fear and start choosing based on vision. You will stop avoiding challenges and start embracing them. You will stop repeating the past and start creating a future worthy of your potential. Do not let a moment define a lifetime. Do not let a mistake define your identity. Do not let a failure define your next move. The power to release is the power to rise. And the moment you release the weight of past failures, you unlock the freedom, clarity, and confidence required to build a life far greater than anything you've experienced before. Let the past go, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Rebuild inner clarity by silencing distractions and strengthening discipline, because a mind scattered across 1,000 voices can never create a life built on purpose. You cannot rise while your attention is being pulled in every direction, drained by noise, weakened by temptation, and fragmented by every insignificant thing that demands a piece of you. Clarity is not found by accident. Clarity is built, protected, and earned through discipline. Your greatness requires a level of focus that the average person never trains. A mental sharpness that only appears when you silence what weakens you and commit fully to what strengthens you. The life you want cannot be built with a distracted mind. Every distraction you entertain steals something from you: time, energy, focus, ambition, confidence. It pulls you away from the path you were meant to walk and traps you inside cycles of inconsistency. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because their attention is scattered. They are overwhelmed by the constant noise of the world: notifications, opinions, gossip, entertainment, worry, comparison, endless scrolling, pointless habits. Each distraction seems small on its own, but together they create a storm powerful enough to bury your goals. And unless you silence that storm, you will never hear the voice of your own purpose. Inner clarity begins with subtraction, removing what drains you, eliminating what weakens you, cutting off what distracts you. When you strip away the noise, what remains is focus: pure, sharp, unbreakable focus. This is the fuel that empowers discipline. Discipline does not come from motivation, it comes from clarity. When you know exactly what you are fighting for, when your vision is sharp, when your mind is quiet and aligned, discipline becomes natural, almost instinctive. But when your mind is cluttered, when distractions dominate your attention, discipline feels impossible. You must choose clarity first. There is a power in silence that most people never experience. The silence where you hear your thoughts clearly. The silence where you confront your weaknesses honestly. The silence where you reconnect with your mission deeply. This silence is not empty, it is full. It is the birthplace of breakthroughs, the space where direction returns, the environment where determination strengthens. When you silence the world, you amplify your inner voice, and that voice carries the wisdom, strength, and vision you need to move forward with force. To rebuild clarity, you must create boundaries. Boundaries for your time, boundaries for your attention, boundaries for your energy. Not everything deserves access to you. Not everyone should have the privilege to interrupt your focus. You must protect your mental environment with the same intensity that a warrior protects a fortress, because your mind is your kingdom, and if you allow distractions to invade it, your potential collapses from the inside. Strengthening discipline is a daily decision. It is choosing action when excuses feel easier. It is choosing focus when distractions feel tempting. It is choosing progress when comfort tries to pull you back. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a gift you give to your future self. Every disciplined action becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you are building. Without discipline, you drift. With discipline, you rise. And the secret to discipline is clarity, knowing exactly what deserves your dedication and what does not. Discipline also requires honesty. You must confront the habits that waste your time. You must acknowledge the people who drain your energy. You must admit the routines that sabotage your progress. The mind cannot become clear if you're afraid to face the truth. Once you see the truth, you regain power. Once you regain power, you gain control. And once you gain control, discipline becomes a natural extension of your growth. Rebuilding clarity demands a commitment to intentional living. Every action has a purpose. Every hour has meaning. Every decision aligns with your vision. You stop allowing life to happen to you and begin directing it with precision. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop drifting and start driving. This is how inner clarity transforms your life. It reconnects you with your purpose and then gives you the discipline to pursue it relentlessly. And make no mistake, clarity and discipline together are unstoppable. A clear mind cannot be easily shaken. A disciplined mind cannot be easily distracted. When you combine clarity with discipline, you become dangerous in the best way. Your goals become non-negotiable. Your progress becomes consistent. Your focus becomes unbreakable. You stop wasting time and start making impact. You stop procrastinating and start moving with intensity. You stop doubting and start executing. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of clarity, a version stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more determined than anything you've experienced. That version is not created in noise. That version is built in silence, sharpened by discipline and strengthened by focus. You reach that version by removing distractions, protecting your mind, commanding your attention, and honoring your goals with relentless consistency. Rebuild your inner clarity because your future deserves a stronger mind. Silence the distractions because your dreams deserve your full focus. Strengthen your discipline because your destiny depends on it. When your mind becomes clear and your discipline becomes unshakable, there is nothing in this world capable of stopping you. You rise, you advance, you dominate. You become the architect of your own success. Realign your goals with your true desires, not temporary emotions, because a life built on impulse will always collapse. But a life built on conviction becomes unshakable. Your future cannot be shaped by moods that shift, feelings that fluctuate, or moments that come and go. Emotions are temporary, powerful, but unstable. Desire is permanent, deep, and anchored. When your goals come from your emotions, you will quit the moment you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. But when your goals come from your true desires, nothing, not doubt, not pressure, not fear, not setbacks, can pull you off your path. Realignment is not optional. It is essential if you want to build a life that actually reflects the fire inside you. Most people drift because their goals are not truly theirs. They set goals based on what others expect, what society praises, what seems impressive, or what feels exciting in the moment. But excitement fades, approval fades, trends fade. And when those fade, the goal collapses. You must choose goals born from the deepest part of you, the part that remains steady when everything else shakes. Your true desires are not emotional impulses, they are your soul's direction. This is why realignment is powerful. It pulls you away from noise and reconnects you with purpose. To realign your goals, you must first strip away the illusions. Remove the goals that were built from comparison. Remove the dreams that were created to impress others. Remove the ambitions that only matter when someone is watching. If a goal does not light something inside you, it is not your goal. If a goal does not demand your discipline, it is not your goal. If a goal does not survive your emotional ups and downs, it is not your goal. True desire stays steady even when motivation disappears. Realignment requires honesty, a level of honesty most people run from. You must confront the goals you've been chasing out of pride, fear, ego, or pressure. You must ask yourself, is this truly what I want? Or is this what I think I should want? When you choose what you think you should want, you build a life that feels heavy. But when you choose what you deeply desire, you build a life that feels alive. That difference determines everything. Your energy, your discipline, your joy, your drive, your persistence. A goal aligned with true desire does not drain you, it fuels you. Temporary emotions are dangerous. One moment they tell you to start something new, the next moment they whisper to quit. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel unsure. Emotions are not the enemy, but they cannot be the architect of your destiny. Your emotions can guide awareness, but your true desires must guide direction. Realignment is the process of separating the noise from the truth. The noise tells you to chase the quick reward. The truth tells you to build something meaningful. The noise tells you to follow the crowd. The truth tells you to follow your path. The noise tells you that progress should be easy. The truth tells you it will be worth it. When you realign your goals with your true desires, you stop chasing everything and start focusing on what matters. You become selective with your time, intentional with your energy, and strategic with your actions. You no longer pursue goals that drain your spirit. You pursue goals that challenge you, strengthen you, and elevate you. This creates a different kind of discipline, the kind that is unbreakable because it is deeply rooted. You show up even when you don't feel like it. You push forward even when you are tired. You stay committed even when progress is slow. This is the power of alignment. It gives you the strength to endure everything your emotions cannot. Realignment also reconnects you with your long-term vision. Temporary emotions focus on the moment, but true desire focuses on the destination. When you chase temporary emotions, you live in circles, starting, stopping, restarting, quitting, doubting, repeating. But when you chase true desire, you live in a straight line, moving forward, learning, adapting, growing, advancing. Alignment removes confusion. It removes hesitation. It removes the need for constant motivation. You begin to operate from clarity instead of chaos. Your life changes the moment you stop asking, how do I feel, and start asking, what do I want to build? Feelings change. True desire remains. And the goals of desire become impossible to abandon. They pull you forward even when your body is tired, even when your emotions fluctuate, even when challenges rise. This is why people who live in alignment outperform those who live on emotion. The aligned are driven by purpose, while the emotional are driven by impulse. Realign your goals because your destiny deserves more than temporary feelings. Realign because your vision deserves to be pursued with consistency, not convenience. Realign because chasing the wrong goals steals years from your life. Realign because your future demands a deeper commitment than your emotions can provide. The greatest version of you only appears when your goals match your true desires, not your temporary moods. When you align with what you genuinely want, your energy changes, your mindset sharpens, your confidence grows,
Fuck you.
your direction becomes clearer, your ambition becomes stronger. You begin to live with intention, not reaction. And that is where everything in your life begins to rise. Realign your goals with your true desires and watch how your direction strengthens, your discipline deepens, and your destiny unfolds exactly as it was meant to. Reclaim ownership of your time, energy, and direction, because the moment you let the world dictate your schedule, your focus, and your priorities, you surrender the very power that determines who you become. You cannot build a meaningful life while allowing others to choose how you spend your hours, where you place your attention, and what path you follow. Time is limited, energy is precious, and direction is everything. If you don't take ownership of them, someone else will. Someone who doesn't carry your dreams, your potential, or your purpose. This is the truth most people ignore. Your life rises the moment you reclaim control, and it begins to fall the second you give that control away. Every day, your time is under attack. Distractions pull at you, requests pile on you, responsibilities expand around you. People expect your presence, your help, your attention, even when giving it drains you completely. You must understand your responsibility. Not every demand deserves your time. Not every distraction should be allowed to invade your mind. Time is your currency, and the way you spend it determines your entire future. If you don't protect it, others will spend it for you, and they will spend it carelessly. Reclaiming ownership begins with a decision, an internal shift that says, my time matters, my energy matters, my direction matters. From that moment, you stop allowing yourself to be pulled into obligations that weaken you. You stop saying yes out of guilt. You stop giving attention to things that add nothing to your growth. You stop letting hours slip away in meaningless habits that keep you stuck where you are. You begin to operate with intention instead of reaction. Your energy is the engine behind everything you build. When your energy is scattered, your life becomes scattered. When your energy is drained, your goals stall. When your energy is controlled by others, your progress dies. You must reclaim it by being ruthless about what you allow into your mental, emotional, and physical space. You protect your energy by distancing yourself from negativity, by refusing to engage in pointless conflicts, by eliminating habits that make you feel weak, and by surrounding yourself with people who elevate your mindset. Your energy is not infinite. Guard it like something sacred. Direction is your compass. Without it, you move through life busy but not productive, active but not advancing, moving but not progressing. Most people are not lost because they lack potential. They are lost because they lack direction. They start their day reacting instead of leading. They chase distractions instead of purpose. They follow the crowd instead of their vision. But when you reclaim direction, everything changes. You wake up with clarity. You move with intention. You choose actions that align with your highest goals instead of your lowest impulses. You stop drifting and start driving. Reclaiming ownership requires discipline. The discipline to say no, the discipline to protect your boundaries, the discipline to stay focused when convenience tries to pull you aside. You cannot reclaim your life while remaining available to every distraction. You cannot reclaim your time while trying to please everyone. You cannot reclaim your direction while living according to someone else's expectations. Ownership demands strength. It demands honesty. It demands courage. You must ask yourself powerful questions. Who controls my time right now? Who controls my focus? What habits are controlling my days? What distractions are eating my energy? What responsibilities have I accepted that do not serve my future? These questions are uncomfortable, but they free you. Because once you identify the forces controlling you, you gain the power to remove them. Reclaiming ownership also means holding yourself accountable. Blame steals your power. Excuses steal your progress. Waiting steals your opportunity. You take ownership when you stop saying, I don't have time, and start saying, I didn't make it a priority. You take ownership when you stop saying, I'm tired, and start saying, I didn't protect my energy. You take ownership when you stop saying, I'm lost, and start saying, I haven't defined my direction. Ownership is honesty. Ownership is empowerment. Ownership is the foundation of transformation. Once you reclaim ownership, your entire life elevates. Your time becomes structured. Your energy becomes focused. Your direction becomes clear. You stop wasting days. You stop drifting. You stop living on autopilot. You move with intention, purpose, and strength. You begin choosing your life instead of falling into it. You make decisions based on your goals, not your moods. You take actions that move you forward, not sideways. You start living a life designed by you, not shaped by others. You reclaim ownership of your time by prioritizing what matters and eliminating what doesn't. You reclaim ownership of your energy by feeding what strengthens you and starving what drains you. You reclaim ownership of your direction by deciding where you are going and refusing to be pulled off course. This is the mindset of leaders, achievers, and anyone determined to rise. Reclaim ownership because no one will fight for your future the way you must. No one will protect your time the way you must. No one will guard your energy the way you must. No one will define your direction the way you must. Your destiny is in your hands the moment you decide to take it back with full force, full discipline, and full clarity. Remove habits, people, and thoughts that weaken your purpose, because nothing sabotages greatness faster than the silent forces that slowly drain your strength from the inside. You cannot rise while carrying the weight of patterns that hold you down. You cannot stay focused while surrounded by people who distract you. You cannot stay driven while entertaining thoughts that attack your confidence. The life you want requires a level of mental, emotional, and environmental purity that only comes when you remove what weakens you. This is not about comfort. This is about survival. Your purpose depends on your ability to eliminate anything that dilutes your ambition. Every habit you repeat becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Some habits build you, sharpen you, empower you. Others quietly destroy you, stealing your time, weakening your discipline, and scattering your focus. People underestimate the danger of small habits. The 5 minutes wasted, the unnecessary scrolling, the late night procrastination, the excuses that never seem harmful in the moment. But these small habits multiply, harden, and become walls that block your progress. The first step to walking into your highest potential is the courage to break the patterns that no longer serve you. You must be brutally honest with yourself. If a habit does not move you forward, it is pulling you backward. There is no neutral ground. Removing people who weaken your purpose is equally essential. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people drain your spirit, fill your mind with doubt, distract you with chaos, or keep you anchored to a version of yourself you're trying to outgrow. You cannot become your strongest self while staying attached to those who feed your weaknesses. People who constantly complain, criticize, gossip, or discourage you rob you of mental clarity and emotional strength. They are not harmless. They are barriers. You must distance yourself from the voices that try to silence your ambition. Your purpose cannot thrive in an environment poisoned by negativity. And then there are the thoughts, the invisible enemies that most people never confront. Thoughts that whisper, you're not good enough. Thoughts that replay your past mistakes. Thoughts that exaggerate fear, amplify failure, and minimize your progress. Left uncontrolled, these thoughts become the internal programming that determines your decisions, your habits, your confidence, your identity. To protect your purpose, you must challenge every thought that weakens your belief in yourself. You must replace fear with intention, doubt with discipline, hesitation with action. Your mind must become a place where your purpose is protected, not attacked. Removing what weakens you is not an easy process. It demands discipline, self-respect, and emotional strength. You will have to detach from comfort. You will have to walk away from familiar distractions. You will have to outgrow people you once relied on. You will have to confront truths about yourself that you've avoided. But this discomfort is necessary because everything great requires sacrifice. You cannot gain strength without losing weakness. You cannot gain clarity without losing chaos. You cannot gain purpose without losing distraction. The moment you begin removing what weakens you, your life changes.
Okay.
You begin to feel lighter,
Now
faster,
everybody
sharper.
rose right
Your
here.
mind becomes clear. Your energy becomes powerful. Your confidence strengthens because you are no longer fighting battles caused by your own environment. Your purpose begins to grow stronger because there is finally space for it to breathe. Most people don't need more motivation. They need fewer distractions. They don't need a new dream. They need to remove the obstacles blocking the one they already have. Every time you remove a weak habit, you build a strong one. Every time you remove a draining person, you protect your future. Every time you remove a negative thought, you strengthen your direction. This is how transformation happens, not by adding more, but by removing what doesn't belong. Subtraction is growth. Letting go is advancement. Clearing space is progress. You must also understand that removing what weakens you is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-respect. Your purpose deserves protection. Your vision deserves focus. Your potential deserves the strongest version of you. If someone or something threatens that, it must go. Not because you are heartless, but because your destiny matters too much to be compromised by forces that don't support it. When you commit to this process, you take back control of your life. You stop living reactively. You stop being pulled by distraction and start being driven by purpose. Your days become intentional, your actions become powerful, and your progress becomes consistent. You shift from a life of noise to a life of focus. You begin to rise because nothing is holding you down anymore. Remove habits that weaken you. Remove people who drain you. Remove thoughts that limit you. You owe this to your purpose, your potential, and your future. When you eliminate what weakens you, you create space for strength, clarity, discipline, and greatness to grow. This is how you elevate. This is how you evolve. This is how you become unstoppable. Restore your belief in your ability to rise, rebuild, and win. Because the moment you doubt yourself, you hand your destiny to circumstances that were never meant to control you. You have walked through storms that would have broken weaker minds. You have survived nights that felt endless, and yet you are still standing with the power to choose what comes next. That alone is proof that there is something extraordinary buried inside you, something stronger than defeat, sharper than fear, and more relentless than any setback you've endured. Do not let temporary disappointments define your permanent identity. Do not let the weight of past failures convince you that you are incapable of transformation. Every person who has ever achieved greatness started with a moment exactly like this. A moment where everything felt uncertain, but they made a decision to rise anyway, to rebuild anyway, to win anyway. You must reclaim the fire that life tried to extinguish. You must rebuild the belief that has been chipped away by doubt, criticism, and comparison. Nothing in your past has the authority to dictate what you can become unless you surrender that power. Stop rehearsing what went wrong. Stop replaying old outcomes. Stop telling the story of defeat. Tell the story of who you are becoming. Every struggle you've faced has prepared you with strength, humility, and resilience that cannot be taught in comfort. You didn't lose those battles. You learned from them. And now those lessons are the raw material of your comeback. You must choose to believe again, even if the world hasn't caught up to your potential yet. Growth rarely announces itself with applause. The belief you rebuild today is the foundation of the life you will command tomorrow. When your mind whispers that you are not enough, you answer with the truth that you are evolving, not failing. When fear tries to convince you to shrink, you expand. When doubt tries to pull you backward, you step forward with a courage that refuses to negotiate with weakness. This is how you rise, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by taking control in the imperfect ones. Rebuilding belief is not about pretending everything is easy. It's about refusing to let difficulty stop you. It's about standing in front of the mirror and telling yourself you will not quit on your future. It's about waking up every day with purpose, even when motivation feels distant. Discipline must carry you when inspiration fades. Consistency must carry you when emotions fluctuate. Vision must carry you when results take time. The world does not reward the loudest complainer. It rewards the quiet warrior who moves with intention when no one is watching. Winning begins in the mind long before it shows up in your life. If you speak in the language of limitation, your life will follow. If you speak in the language of strength, your outcomes will rise to match it. Feed your belief with action. Feed your confidence with discipline. Feed your future with decisions that reflect the person you aim to become, not the person you used to be. You are not defined by past mistakes. You are defined by the courage to keep evolving. Every great comeback requires a moment where you declare that your story is not finished. This is that moment for you. This is the chapter where everything shifts, where belief reconnects with purpose, where desire transforms into disciplined pursuit. You must protect your mind from negativity, from people who underestimate you, from environments that dilute your ambition. Surround yourself with only what strengthens you. Speak only what empowers you. Move only in the direction that elevates you. You are capable of more than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. Do not underestimate the power of a single decision made with unwavering conviction. Decide to rise. Decide to rebuild. Decide to win, not once, not occasionally, but relentlessly. You owe that to the future version of yourself who is waiting on the other side of discipline, persistence, and unshakable belief. Your life can change faster than you think, but only when you decide that doubt no longer has a place in your mind. Step into the strength that has always been within you. Step into the responsibility of your own greatness. Step into the belief that you are destined for more. You rise by choice. You rebuild by discipline. You win by refusing to quit. This is your turning point. This is your rise. This is the moment you reclaim your belief and step into the life you are meant to build. Re-enter life with renewed intensity, intention, and unshakable focus. Because drifting through your days without direction is the silent enemy that destroys potential long before failure ever does. You cannot afford to walk lightly anymore. You can't afford to move without purpose, without clarity, without the fire that tells the world you have returned to claim everything you once left behind. The version of you that lived passively, that tolerated distractions, that postponed their future. That version must be buried so a stronger, sharper, more disciplined mind can rise. This is the moment you step back into your own life like someone who finally understands their worth, their power, and the urgency of their mission. You don't simply continue. You restart with force. Intensity is the antidote to mediocrity. When your actions carry weight, when your energy hits the world with intention, everything begins to shift around you. You cannot change your life by moving softly. You cannot break old patterns with half-hearted effort. You must decide that every step you take from this point forward carries the conviction of someone who refuses to return to who they were. You must operate with a level of seriousness that eliminates excuses, strengthens discipline, and demands evolution. Life respects a focused mind. It opens doors for disciplined energy. It bends for those who move with relentless intention. Re-entering life with intensity means waking up and refusing to drift.
You
It
refine.
means directing your thoughts instead of letting them scatter. It means choosing actions that move you closer to your purpose.
Refining my workout program. That means that I will have all of the stations near each other so I don't have to keep moving the camera around like I'm doing right now. But for now, that's what we're doing. And top the water cleaner. Once everything's all gathered together, I'm gonna have my shit together. Oh my gosh, who's here? For now, that's where I'm at, people. So deal with it. Strap. Pull. Hips. So, go ahead and do some dips. What you think? What you think? Dips. We're doing 3 sets of 6. Sets of 6. 3 sets of 6. 3 sets of 6.
Even when comfort tries to pull you backward, every day becomes a battlefield where you protect your focus from noise, from people who drain you, from habits that steal your time. You begin studying your own life with the precision of a strategist. What strengthens me? What weakens me? What deserves my attention? What must be cut away immediately? You become unavailable for distractions because you finally understand the cost of letting your mind be pulled in every direction except the one that matters. Intention gives your life structure. It removes confusion. It silences doubt. It turns wandering dreams into measurable progress. When you live with intention, you no longer react. You choose. You build your schedule instead of surrendering to impulses. You speak with purpose instead of filling silence. You move your mind toward goals that align with your deepest desires, not temporary emotions. Intention is the force that keeps you grounded when setbacks hit and motivation fades. It reminds you why you started. It strengthens you when you're tired. It keeps your path straight when everything around you tries to shift your direction. To carry unshakable focus, you must train your mind like a weapon. You must learn to lock on to what matters and refuse to break concentration. Focus is not a gift, it's a discipline forged by repeated choices. Choosing the work instead of the distraction, choosing the goal instead of the comfort, choosing the future instead of the momentary pleasure. You will feel resistance, but that resistance is proof you're evolving. You will feel discomfort, but that discomfort is a sign you're breaking patterns that have held you back for years. Focus grows stronger each time you protect it. Re-enter life as someone who is not negotiating with old limitations. Your past cannot be allowed to dictate your next chapter. The habits that weakened you, the doubts that stalled you, the fears that whispered you weren't ready, they no longer have a vote in who you become. You are writing the script now with deliberate choices, disciplined actions, and a mind that refuses to scatter. Stepping back into life means stepping into responsibility. The responsibility to honor your potential, to respect your time, to rebuild your identity on strength rather than uncertainty. Every comeback requires a shift in energy, so noticeable that even you feel the difference when you wake up in the morning. You walk differently. You think differently. You commit differently. You begin seeing your future not as something distant, but as something you are actively constructing piece by piece. The intensity you bring becomes the foundation. The intention you hold becomes the compass. The focus you protect becomes the engine that keeps pushing you forward. This is not a soft return. This is a powerful re-entry. You're not easing back into life. You're charging into it with clarity and determination. You are reclaiming your time and directing it with precision. You are reclaiming your energy and investing it only where it multiplies. You are reclaiming your direction and refusing anything that pulls you off path. And as you do this, life begins to respond. Opportunities emerge where there were once obstacles. Progress accelerates where there was once stagnation. Confidence grows where there was once uncertainty. Re-enter life with the intensity of someone who knows what they want and refuses to settle for anything less. Re-enter with the intention of someone who understands that every decision shapes their destiny. Re-enter with the unshakable focus of someone who has no interest in living halfway, thinking halfway, or dreaming halfway ever again. This is your resurgence. This is your elevation. This is you stepping back into your own life with power, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. And now you stand at the edge of a new beginning, not waiting for permission, not searching for signs, but choosing to rise with the level of strength that refuses to bend. This is where the past loses its power, and the future becomes something you actively build with every disciplined step you take. You are no longer moving blindly, no longer drifting, no longer surrendering your mind to distractions or your destiny to doubt. You are stepping forward with intention, reshaping your identity with clarity, and walking into your own potential with the intensity of someone who knows their life is too valuable to waste. Every lesson you've learned, every struggle you've survived, every moment you almost quit has prepared you for this exact turning point. And now you return to your path with sharper focus, deeper hunger, and unshakable belief in what you can become. The world will not hand you greatness. You will extract it through discipline, direction, and relentless commitment to the future you refuse to abandon. So walk forward with certainty, with power, with a mind fortified against distractions, and a heart locked onto your purpose. This is your reset. This is your restart. This is your refocus. And from this moment on, nothing can stop the rise you are determined to deliver.
Money flows easily to me. My financial freedom is only one step away. Abundance is flowing to me. I feel good about money, and money flows into my life with ease. Money comes to me unexpectedly. Money comes to me in great frequency.
Understand this clearly. If it's where you have absolute power, your own mind. This is not a fairy tale where the poor become rich through a random blessing. This is the truth, silently held by all great individuals. They are not biologically different from you. They differ in one thing: they believe they are the cause. They don't bow to circumstance. They look it straight in the eye and begin rebuilding from within. The outside world, what you often call reality, is merely a mirror. And a mirror never reflects what you haven't yet accepted within. You cannot expect success if your mind still doubts your worthiness. If you don't yet have what you want, don't be quick to ask why no one has helped you. Look inward with honesty. Do you truly believe you deserve it? Deep down, you might still be unsure. You might say, I want financial freedom, but then quietly think, am I really capable? In that very moment, you've already canceled out what you hoped for. The world doesn't respond to what you say out loud. It only listens to what you believe in your heart. You can work twice as hard as others, sweat, sacrifice, but if your mindset is unclear and your belief is fragile, your results will betray you. The subconscious doesn't respond to effort. It responds only to conviction. It gives back to you exactly what you perceive as undeniable truth. And if you see your limitations as real, if you believe you are always lacking, always behind, never good enough, then the subconscious will deliver exactly that to you. You were not born to be a victim. You were born to be a creator. But to do that, you must begin with something so simple that most people overlook it: the belief that you are the cause, not the result. Without this, every plan you write is a fantasy. With it, you will turn fantasy into blueprint. I've met countless talented people with brilliant ideas and burning desire, but they lacked one thing. They didn't believe they were worthy. And so they hesitated, they waited, they stopped. They lived a life of almost started, almost broke through, almost changed. But almost is never real. Transformation never happens from the outside. You can change jobs, move cities, get a new partner, but if you don't change the way you see